So now that our player can get hurt by things, let's add a way for him to be able to fire back and launch some deadly lasers back at our enemies. So to do that, we're going to start off by going into our art folder, and we're going to pull from our sprite sheet of various things here. We're going to pull this little blue laser looking thing. I'm just going to drop that in front of our spaceship right here. I'm going to rename this to be player laser, and the only thing we want to do, well, obviously we want to be able to move this laser, but we also want it to be able to interact with other objects in the world. And of course, to do that, we're going to need to give it a box collider. So we'll give it a box collider 2D like this, and you'll see now we have the little green outline around our laser down here. And we also want to make sure that this is a trigger box collider, so that when our laser hits against another object, say this asteroid for example, it won't knock the asteroid kind of into a weird position or make it start spinning around or anything like that. We don't want that. We don't want our laser kind of hitting against something that being a solid object. We want it to just kind of interact with it by being an area where some action will happen, basically. So now that we have it set up as a box collider and we have a little image, let's go ahead and create a script to go with it to make it move across the screen from left to right. So we're going to go into our scripts folder and create a new C# script that we will call the bullet controller script, and we'll open this up over here in MonoDevelop. Give it a second. Okay, so if we're going to move our bullet across the screen, we're going to need an amount of speed that it's going to take to do that. So let's go ahead and say public force move speed, like that. And then we're going to need to have an actual way of moving it. Now, we've moved other objects in the world with using rigid body forces to push it around and stuff like that, but we're going to be doing a lot of these lasers. They're going to be constantly firing them out from the player as we go, so we don't really want to have them all be being controlled by physics, because if we have a load of lasers all being controlled by physics, it can start making things a little bit hectic for the computer. If the computer is controlling a lot of physics-based objects around the world, then it can start slowing things down and getting your game kind of bogged down. We don't really want that. So what we'll do is just do the simple way of moving the transform position of our object through the world. So let's do that in our update loop here. We're just going to say here our transform dot position equals a new vector tree, and we're only going to worry about moving it on the x-axis, because our laser, we don't need our laser to go up and down, we only need to move it to the side, and we also only need to worry about it moving to the right. Our laser isn't going to go to the left for any reason, so we'll just say here new vector tree. On the x-axis we're going to say whatever our current transform.position.x, we will add on our move speed, and we're going to multiply that by our time.delta time. So we'll just make sure we put them in brackets so we're sure that they'll be executed as one thing together, but they should, due to the way that mathematical logic works, a multiply should happen before an addition over here, but we can just make it explicit and put some brackets around it. So that's why we say move speed by time.delta time, put it in the brackets, and add that onto our current transform position. And then on our y-axis, we don't want to change wherever we are at the moment, so we'll stick that as transform.position.y. And as usual, on the z-axis, we don't want to make any changes either, so we'll say transform.position.z and hit that semicolon. And we'll just save this. And one final thing we want to do is make sure that whenever our bullet interacts with something else, we'll obviously want it to do damage to other things, but most importantly, we want it to destroy itself when it impacts against something, because we don't want our laser flying across the screen forever and ever. So as soon as it interacts with anything in the world, it goes, okay, no, I'm destroyed now. So to do that, we'll use our void on trigger enter 2D, like that. And in between our little brackets here, we want to make sure and say we're checking to see what is the collider other that is interacting with our on trigger enter. So that's how we'll check what thing we're interacting with. But now that we know we're interacting, or that we're interacting with something at all, we just say, okay, destroy our bullet. So destroy the game object that this script is attached to. Okay, so we just got that saved. Let's pop back into Unity and we'll let that compile. Oh, we got a bit of an error here. What have we got? On line 16. Oh, I just realized when I went to type in float up here, for some reason it got auto changed to force mode. So that's not very useful at all. We want this to be a public float for move speed, not a public force mode. So that was why we were getting a weird error down here. So if we go back into Unity now, we should be absolutely okay. Sometimes the autocorrect on mono developed over here can be a bit can throw you out with some different things than what you're looking for by accident, but that's okay. We got that compiled and it's all fine. So let's go to our laser. We're going to give it the where is it? There you go, bullet controller script. I lost it there for a second. We're going to set the move speed. I'm going to set it to 15, so it goes faster than our ship moves. And if we press play, we'll see, boom, our laser goes forward and hits our asteroid. But of course at the moment we can't fire our laser at all. So let's go ahead and add the ability for our ship to fire multiple lasers.